Morning, morning. What's up, Tim? What's up, Cool? What's up, Jay? What's up, Jeremy? Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'm not going to take up too much of your time today. What's up, Jay? What's up, Michael? Where's everyone joining me from this morning? What's up, Sergio? How's everyone doing today? Singapore, Florida, Canada, Barbados. Y'all ain't celebrating Thanksgiving. Indianapolis, nice, nice. Virginia, happy Thanksgiving. Argentina, all right, Carlos, one of my favorite places. What's up, baby? How's everyone doing? Hope you're having an amazing week. Roland Frank, good name. So let's just get into it. Here's your week in markets. Okay, here's your week in the markets. So far, it's Thursday. Got a half day tomorrow, I believe. Obviously, markets are closed today. What's up, MP? What's up, Cool? Feel better, my friend. Good, watch them all. Here's our week so far. All right, it's Thursday. We had 3 days in market so far, up days. Pushing back both towards some lower highs. And all-time highs. So that's what we got going on big picture-wise. So that's good. Really slow ass week so far for small cap. Really slow week for small cap, yeah? Typical holiday week, okay? My experience is it does pick up, though. My experience is the trading picks up pretty decently going into New Year's. And then going into January and February, where generally speaking, things are pretty damn hot. Okay, specifically, I'm talking about small cap tickers and momentum and volatility. And I believe that coming up, we are going to see that. We're going to see some all-time highs in the markets, probably going into January, February. And then I am expecting something different next year. Okay. But the goal for me is to maximize the rest of December, January, February, and then who knows? I could be way off, right? Could just be full-blown bull market next year. I don't mind, right? We react. We do whatever the markets give us. We react to that. Okay. Just wanted to see something quickly. Happy Thanksgiving, my friends. Yes. We are going to get, just so you know, we will be back tomorrow morning. We'll be back tomorrow morning for pre-market. Live trading in the morning as well. And then we will be doing a full structured masterclass after that tomorrow, just to round out this week. Okay? Just to round out this week. If you guys have any questions at any point, holler at me. Essentially what I'm trying to get you guys, before, tomorrow ends, is how you can find and build your own setups. Okay, very important. How to find, build your own setups. The metrics that matter to me in terms of tracking, right? In terms of tracking the efficacy of a setup. Again, a game that's not as straightforward as people think. Yeah, like back testing, stuff like that. There are a lot of variables that go into what I do that you don't see back testing. Okay, in terms of what is important to me on a daily basis. What were the markets doing that day? What patterns were effective that week? Okay. Of course, if I'm backtesting a pattern during a period of time where it wasn't effective, it's going to yield results that tell me I should never fucking do that, guys. Understood? So, everything's cyclical in nature. The markets, the debt cycles, right, that create what we see. So are the patterns that we trade. So are the patterns that we trade. So, let me see 1 second. So people have a very big misconception on what trading is, right? They think it's just, you just come do one thing every day and make money. And it couldn't be further from the truth. The goal is to build a playbook, a set of strategies that work in a set of environments. To know said strategies like the back of your hand, okay? And then to scale said strategies when they are in play and to put them back on the bench when they're not in play. The difficult part is as you start to learn the setups, okay, you are not going to be, your timing will almost always be too late in terms of the cycle. So they are not as fruitful when you get to that setup and you are trying to trade it. So often. And you say, that's not for me. Yeah. Fishing's one of the best analogies I can give you, in terms of what it is to successfully trade, the patience that it takes, the dedication, the discipline, but the strategy. And I'm not talking about your strategies. I'm talking about when to deploy what strategy. Okay? A good football coach isn't a good football coach because he has good plays in his book. Right? You could take Bill Belichick in his prime, right? Take his playbook and I could give it to one of you fuckers. And you're going to lose every fucking game. With one of the greatest coaches and his best playbook of all time, if you had that in your possession and then you went out to try to coach an NFL game this week, you will get destroyed because you don't know when to deploy those plays. Does that make sense? It's more so when than just how. It's way more so when than just how. And that's what you need to figure out is the when. When you can figure that out, that's when you can start to scale. Okay? I know, Jeffrey. I know, bro. But you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean. So, it's about building your playbook out. Hopefully having somewhere between 5 and 10 at least setups from a big picture that you can trade in any given market. Minimum. I've got more than that. I've got setups I've not traded in 3 or 4 years because they've not presented themselves. I've got setups that go away for a year and then they come back. Right? So it's not one size fits all. It's not linear. It's not. And that's what makes it so difficult. Multiple moving targets. right? It's always moving. It's always cyclical. It's always changing. And so we must always be changing. Let me get you guys something here. Okay, so let's get started then. First, know your tool. Know what the fuck it is that you're trying to do here. Okay? I've been specializing in small cap trading for a decade. Why? I love the math behind it. There is the most volatility amongst any instrument that you can trade on any given day. Obviously, like 0 DTE options, where they go from 0 to, 10 cents to $5 to 10 cents in 5 seconds. Don't get me wrong, there are other volatile instruments, okay? But none that allow me to control the risk like I get to control them when I trade lower cap stocks and lower price stocks, okay? Nothing like it. Nothing where I can risk 2 cents a share to make $1 a share, or 5 cents a share to make 50 cents a share. Okay? And when I have that sort of risk, I can take 5, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, 500,000 shares, guys. Okay? And when I get to 10,000 shares and a stock moves 10 cents, that's $1,000. Yeah? That's the whole point. That led me in the first place to smaller cap tickers. A, they move the most percentage, and B, they're the cheapest. So from a mathematical standpoint, I get to play a really fun game, which is how little can I risk per share to make as much as I can per share. Right? And I've never gotten away from it. I still can trade big caps and options and other shit, and I do, but it's just not the same to me in terms of edge from a mathematical perspective. Okay. That being said, small cap, if you're someone who trades breakouts or intraday high day breaks or VWAP holds or VWAP breaks or anything like that, there's a reason you're struggling. There are many reasons you're struggling, okay? And that's what I teach. But the main reason is supply and demand is never going to be on your side. 99.999% of small cap tickers go back to 0 over and over and over again. Let's just go to my scanner. Let's start with that. This is just my scan from, you guys saw SMX, by the way, right? On Friday. If you haven't watched, or Friday, yesterday, Wednesday, go back and watch yesterday's. Okay, go watching. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. 100%. Go back and watch yesterday's webinar. Go watch all the webinars from the week, please. But go back and watch yesterday. We talk about SMX. All of these tickers will go back to 0. All of them. Okay. Every ticker I trade looks like this. Doggy doo-doo, right? But some big old spikes once a year or so. Most of these tickers will pop once or twice a year to keep the fucking doors open, right? They do this. They do a split, they pump it, and they dump shares over and over and over and over and over and over. It's the most predictable thing in the stock market is that these tickers do this, in my opinion. Okay. Do I fry my turkey or smoke it? I don't do the turkey. If I did, I'd smoke it though. I bet he can't cook. Cody, I could fucking cook. I cook the best steak you'll ever eat in your fucking life. In fact, I don't like ordering steaks at restaurants because they're not as fucking good. They don't do it for me. I'm a pretty fucking good cook, dude. Not gonna lie. Ask my wife. Anyways, this is the big picture, and I need you guys to understand, soak it in, is that these companies, every single ticker, by necessity, is a pump and dump. Okay? Every single ticker. As someone with a small account, I find it very difficult holding through massive pullbacks. You shouldn't be holding through massive pullbacks. You should never have to hold through a massive pullback, you guys. The way I trade has zero to do with pullbacks, right? You should, the only time I'm holding through a massive pullback is profitably with my, and I've already taken, hopefully, shares off. All right? Make sure to smash the like if y'all are appreciating this. I wanted to try duck this year. Duck's good. You'll challenge me on the steak, Cody? All right, bro. Where are you at? Come to Texas, my friend. I'm in. I'll do a steak cook-off with you any day. Who are the judges? Split pump on SMX, right? Anytime there's a split, it's resetting this cycle. That's why split pump's one of my favorites. It doesn't mean it's a guarantee that they're going to pump it. Look here. Hardly a pump in the world on the last one. And then they just dumped. Oh, you're in Texas, bro. Let's go. We'll have a steak off one day. Still mainly long bias. Yes, Jay. How's it going, baby? Happy Thanksgiving, Jay. Okay. So the first part of any trade for me when it comes to small cap is, what is this company trying to do? Where are they in their life cycle as a small cap stock? What does that mean? They pump. Okay. They pump. Look, split. Okay. All this year, they've done 3 splits this year. Who doesn't know what a split means? If I say something and you don't know what it means, please let me know. Hey, no problem, Flash. Appreciate you, brother. Round Rock. I used to be out in Austin for a while. How should we trade first Green Day? We're going to get into that tomorrow specifically. It's one more day. Tomorrow we'll get into it, but first Green Day is something where there's day one gappers and there's first Green Day bounce. So if you mean day one gapper, we're going to talk all about that too. Anyways, this is big picture stuff. I'm going to teach you what you're trading and why it's important that you understand this stuff. If you don't understand this stuff, you have zero fucking chance to be long and make money sustainably long. Understood? Zero. You have zero fucking chance. If you don't understand this, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Trade any strategy you want, doesn't matter. There are strats that will work without understanding this, because inherently, like, some of the strategies I teach are based off of these concepts, okay? The first thing I want to know is, where in the life cycle are they? Are they pumping? Are they dumping? Generally speaking, they go hand in hand. Okay? I'm trying to be there for the pump. I'm trying to take advantage of a scam that I know occurs every day in small cap. And when you come at it from that lens, you get away from being the dumpee. How do I become the dumper? How do I sell shares to retail, to you, whoever's watching? My goal as a trader is to make sure you fuckers who are watching me right now buy my shares. Does that make sense? If you guys are buying my shares when I'm selling them, I win. You fucking lose. Even when you win, I win more. Understood? That's my goal. To be a contrarian to the nth degree. When everyone's excited about a small cap ticker that is up 300%, you should be selling. Not buying. Even if it goes up another 300%, does that make sense? Sorry, guys. I'm going to try to ease off the F-bombs today because I know it's a family day. Okay? It's really important that you understand this concept. It's what changed me forever and never, never changed my family's life, changes the lives of everyone that I teach. Is that if I get to a ticker and it looks like this, I don't care what the price is, this area is always sell, and I got to figure out how to buy in these areas. Very simply put. So I'm always reverse engineering. How do I get lower? How do I find this area and this area? Right? And then sell. I'm talking about if this was a minute chart. And it's not that complicated, believe it or not. It's not. But it takes a lot of rewiring. Okay? It takes a lot of rewiring how we think to get away from chasing strength. To be risk-reward oriented. So, step number 1, where in the process are these guys? Who has what to dump where? Fundamentally, what is the ticker I'm trading? How many shares are in this float? Right? What am I trading? I need to know. Mathematically, it's important. Is it a massive float? Are there a ton of shares to be traded? Okay? In which case, it's going to move more slowly. Each stock you have to characterize, almost like a person. Right? Almost like a person. Sorry. Okay. So, that's the first thing. That's why daily chart first. Obviously my scan. Process-wise, there's a lot of shit that goes into it. Overall markets and whatever else. What's working now and all that good stuff. Okay? But the daily chart paints the picture. So let's get into daily chart analysis. Very, very, very basic. I'm looking for a few tells or red flags. I'm looking for a few. Okay? I am looking for big gap downs or gap ups. Generally speaking, something happened there. Yeah? Let's go on SMX. Here's an example of one right here. See that? That is a gap down. That interests me. I'm also looking for abnormal volume days. Okay, so in this case, it would be here. Right? Here. Days like that. That's what I'm looking for. When volume comes in on these tickers, the pump is on. That's basically how it works. Because for them to dump shares on you, they need liquidity. They need liquidity. You're the liquidity. For that to happen, and I'm talking about shorts too. This is unadulterated short squeeze. Okay? That's short squeeze, guys. That is brokers calling in shares, all that good shit. Okay? That's them using shorts as well. My friends, here's the short sellers, right? Feeling all very good because small cap sucks so bad, and this is that principle I was talking about, right? Here's your highs from the morning, little ABCD, re-short, feeling good, get sub VWAP, re-short, re-short, re-short. Yeah? And these are the moves that liquidate these guys who maybe have been doing this successfully for the whole month and have made a lot of money doing this kind of shit all month. That's what happens. They get overconfident. They short this, right? When it breaks back down, all that good shit. Anyways, let's get back to the analysis really fast, just so that we can get through this. I'm not trying to really break down just SMX, but this is the latest big runner that's going to be important on Monday to see how it reacts. So, gap down. I want to know what happened during the gap downs. Generally speaking, bad news, more likely offering, right? Who doesn't understand the principle of offerings yet? Because it's so important. You might as well not trade this stuff if you don't understand this. That you are a pawn in a game. That you are a pawn. They are using you. These companies put out a PR. You're like, holy shit, they're going to cure cancer. You buy shares of the tickers when they're up 300%. They sell shares to an institutional investor. They did it yesterday at half off. The stock then drops by 50%. Yeah? Happy Thanksgiving, my friends. Thanks for joining me today. I won't be too much longer. I'm going to let you guys get to your families, unless you guys want to stay with me. Bunch of people who don't like their in-laws in here or what? What's going on? What's going on, y'all? I'm going to show you something. Show you something. Okay, Billy, you ready to learn why you should not be Billy? Hopefully this will sear into your mind. Listen, I'm not buying through high a day anymore. I'm not buying breakouts. I'm not buying high. I'm not going to be the pawn. In fact, you want to be on the same side as these guys. When they're selling, you want to be selling. When they're buying, you want to be buying. Okay? Essentially, that's how this works. Same with successful short sellers. Yeah? You're welcome, Georgia. Appreciate you guys. This is H.C. Wainwright & Co., okay? 1868, right? It's like Illuminati shit. Okay? Watch this. Transactions. I liken this to a hunter. With all the heads on the wall, these are those heads. This is you. Okay? Every one of these companies. Tempest. I've traded most of these companies in the past as well, by the way, so it just keeps cycling. Precision Biotechs. As I go down this, Clean Spark, CSPK or whatever, right? PHIO. GNRX or GPRX is Genprex. Look at that. 8 million, 3 million, 10 million, 95 million Oculus. These are all the companies. BitF, BITF. Okay? Plug, PLUG. All of these tickers. Look, SINT. Predictive Oncology, I believe, is POAI. Yep, Predictive Oncology. Look, bang. And on all of these, if I go through these tickers, there's Predictive Oncology. If I go to like any of those tickers, you're going to see a gap down. Okay? You're going to see a gap down from when they needed money, and the only way to get money was to do an offering. So, they're in cahoots with the institutional investor. Institutional investor, H.C. Wainwright, is in cahoots with the company. And then you end up with a chart that looks like this. Understood? Look at that shit. Big, huge gap ups. Enticing everyone. Closing their lows every fucking time, you guys. Okay? Look at that. It ain't rocket science. It also doesn't mean that they don't move it up a lot first before they smash them. Okay? Anyways, let's get back to it really fast so you can see. This is pretty much the lesson of the day for you guys today. All right, we're going to get into more stuff tomorrow in terms of like how to navigate and strategies and stuff like that. I just want you to know, look at this, at the market offering, 92 million on micro, that's microbot. Okay. That's EDSA. Syntex, another one. American BTC, Bitcoin. Okay. This is how they get, and this is just one. There are many companies like this. There are many companies like this, but this is the main one. There's SENS or SNES, I mean. Right? So just a ton. Services, investment banking, advisory, research, blah, 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 sales and trading. Listen to this. People talk about like SPY and the people who trade futures all talk about the algos and stuff like that. And there's a lot of he said, she said, sweeping this and doing that. This is real. What I'm talking about right now is real. You just saw the heads on the wall of the companies that they serve. Their sales and trading team utilizes its expertise in cutting edge technology to deliver personalized attention and superior service with a focus on identifying buyers and sellers in illiquid and difficult to trade equities. Okay, that is what we trade. Illiquid and difficult to trade equities. 99.99999% of the time on the tickers that we trade, just go to even POAI. Look, no liquidity, none. 20,000 in volume, 19,000 in volume on this day. Okay, 30,000 in volume, less than 100,000, 99% of the time. Same with SMX. 99% of the time, it does no volume. Now, they're split, so this volume isn't accurate because the volume is also split adjusted on the charts. Okay. Let's go to INHD. Same thing, right? Very illiquid. So that's why volume is very important to me. That's why pre-market volume is very important to me. If pre-market volume is there these days and it's big, I can assume, and you can assume, that these fuckers are there, or some version of these fuckers are there. Understood? Bringing volume. It's not just you, me, Bob, Billy, and short sellers. It's definitely not. Understood? When we're watching small cap tickers do 100 million shares pre-market, $500 million volume pre-market, it's not just you, me, and retail. Understood? We focus on identifying buyers and sellers in illiquid and difficult to trade equities. Our sales team specializes, and trading team specializes in block trade. I want to be on this trading team for 1 week so badly. I want to be on this trading team so badly. I want to be in this office so badly for 1 week. You have no clue how badly I want to be in there. If there's one room I could have access to, it's their trading floor. I promise you. Anywhere in the world, that's the trading floor I'd love to be on with them. They specialize in block trading and providing liquidity in these securities with as little market impact as possible. Now, I read these, and I've read this many, many times. And I look at it in the light of, what does that mean? As little market impact as possible. Because they make a big, huge impact on each ticker, yeah? And to me, it means that when they're done, the price is the same. Does that make sense? That's what it means to me. That if a ticker's at 2, that they can dump 10 million shares into that ticker, and when they're done dumping it, it's fucking at $2 still. Does that make sense? Yes or no? That to me is what they do when they say that. They're in, they're gone, volume's gone, price is the same. Like they were never fucking there when it's all said and done. Look at INHD. Look, boom, there's the pump, then they're gone. Here's a pump, then they're gone. Here's a pump, gone. SMX. Little bit of a pump, gone. Tiny little post-split pump, gone. This one, they're just like, fuck all of you. And now they're being, now they're fucking around already right now. Okay? So, understand, I'm trying to teach you guys right now the big picture. If you can understand the macro of what you're trading, it solves so many psychological issues. Why are you chasing this bullshit when they're trying to really just fuck you? Why are you buying through highs of day when that's where they dump on you? Exactly what they want is what everyone does. Their algorithms know that. We place a high value on delivering industry-leading insights and a real-time execution. The bedrock of our sales and trading team lies in its trusted relationships with clients and understanding their methodology and objectives. Their sales and trading team utilizes expertise and cutting-edge technology, aka algorithms, HFTs, you name it, to deliver personalized superior service. That's what they do. Founded in 1868 in Boston, Massachusetts. H.C. Wainwright has had the advantage of crafting each line of business in step with the financial landscape of the time. Right? AKA the technology, whatever it is, they've had the best of it forever is what they're saying. Okay? They are ranked as the #1 placement agent since 1998, which I agree with. I see them the most. And that's what they are, a placement agent. Understood? Does that make sense to you guys or no? They say it's little impact, but these dumps reflect in the charts as mini price collapse. Yeah, but they also are responsible for pumping it. Right? So the price is never organic. This, you guys, these guys create the inefficiencies for us to trade. I really hope you understand that. They're not evil. I don't think it should be legal, everything that happens, but it is. And they keep these, and to be fair, there are a lot of legitimate companies that they, work with and support financially. Okay? So, now we're going to play chess. Now you guys are going to play chess. You're not going to show up and just chase shit through highs a day. That's what they want. You're going to ask yourself, what are the H.C. Wainwrights of the world? What's going on? There's volume here. Someone's here. What's someone need? What do they want? Go to the filings. Look at the levels. They tell you. That's why it's legal. At the market offering, okay, there could be anywhere. They're going to dump anywhere. Warrants, they tell you where they are, how they can execute, how many. Convertible shares, they talk about it. It's why I only use, I'm going to do that tomorrow, I will make a list of YouTubers tomorrow and other people outside of myself that I trust that I think that you guys should also learn from for tomorrow. Anyways, I'm always asking myself, what are they doing? If they're pumping, that's what you want. They are the ones that are going to squeeze the shorts for you, or not. Or they may trap all the longs at the top and then reverse and bring it back to lows again so they can keep churning volume. Because that is the game. Hopefully you're going to see. The game is they need volume to dump shares. Volume comes in, at some point they dump shares. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, sometimes a couple weeks. Generally speaking, I live day 1, day 2, day 3, first grain day bounce. So I have about a 5-day period from when these pumps start where I am actually tracking and watching them. Okay. The rest of the time I'm hitting day one gappers. I'm hitting gap and crap reversals. I'm hitting singles off reversals with great RR so that it doesn't matter if I lose or not, which we'll talk about tomorrow. Specifically the principles of risk reward that have enabled everything. Okay, you could have the shittiest strategy in the world and great RR and you'll be okay. It's not what we want, obviously. Does this make sense, though? Please let me know in chat. Let me know. Just hit me with an eggplant if this makes sense in terms of what you are trading now. Anything that's in play, when they PR it, look. All of these tickers right here, all these PRs that you see, like SMX, they're like, oh, you know, we just fucking revolutionized the gold industry forever, right? They figured out how to turn fucking, you know, semen into gold somehow. That's the pump. This is all designed. This split, everything in this, not only that, the split, they had already predetermined everything. And they told NASDAQ, listen, hey, y'all, I know that we're under $1. Sorry, guys, and we're not compliant with your rules. We'll do a split. We're going to put out this PR. Don't worry about it. We got you guys. And NASDAQ says, okay, fuck retail. That's what they say. That's where I want to be there when they're about to fuck retail. And I am going to fuck retail with them. Does that make sense? That's my goal. And they are cyclical. H.C. Wainwright, again, I'm going to promise you this. They are cyclical. They know exactly when. Their trading team, cutting edge technology, they know when small cap's hot. Okay? In fact, I believe they're somewhat responsible for when small cap gets hot. Believe it or not. They are also the reason that we have small cap tickers in the first place. Okay? I'm going to wrap up soon for you guys, but we're going to be back tomorrow morning. Does that mean reverse pump strategy only works on NASDAQ? Great question. No, it'll work on other tickers as well, but it is primarily NASDAQ because the rules are different for other tickers. I appreciate you, Anita. It's good to see you, girl. So primarily NASDAQ. The rules are a bit different and you can, you know, tweak your strategy based off of that with AMXs or NYSE stocks. But NASDAQ is specifically 10 days. You know, there's other stuff that they got going. Okay. Isn't that crazy, Surma? They've been doing this since before we were born. Correct. Way before. That's how deep. I mean, look at that building, you know. That's why I love showing you guys. It's more impactful when you understand who you're trading with and against. And you want to be trading with them. Okay? You want to be trading with them. They're running the HFTs and algos when you guys are trading it. There's zero chance it's just retail that's trading 100, you know, trading 1 billion shares on these things in a day. That's all. That's the last few years. That didn't used to happen earlier in my career. Tomorrow's a half day. We are going to be together. We're going to go through my strats tomorrow. There's so much seeming to turn into gold, Scott. I'm going to say something a little controversial here. Thanksgiving's overrated. The meal itself, a bit overrated. Like there are many other meals I would have before I have that meal. In fact, it's the only time in the year where we have that meal. I love the holiday. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying. Okay. Please explain split. Easy. Let me get you okay. So to stay compliant with NASDAQ, you have to maintain the price of $1. Okay, let me go to my scan and find some that are non-compliant really fast. I'll show you. Watch. If I go to my scan right now and I filter it with a top price of $1, okay, and I take off everything else and I filter it. Here are all your stocks that are under $1 right now. There are 450 listed stocks, guys, under $1. 450 of these things. Look, these are all stocks that are under $1. Look, starting at $1 and going down. 450 listed stocks. There is, and I'm going to be dropping that tomorrow for you guys, just so you know. So meet me in the morning. This is pretty crazy. But if you go to something, this was wild. If you go to this period of time, watch this. Okay. Right here, where markets hit all-time highs in November, December 2021 of 485. Can someone guess, if I went to this scan, how many stocks were under $1? Anyone? At this point in time, January 2022, when I went to this scan and did that, how many did I have? Zero. Fucking zero, guys. Zero. I was tripping. I'm like, no, what am I going to trade? What the fuck? Zero. Okay. Today, look where the markets are. All right. That was that year, by the way. I think we're going to have a year like this next year, just to be honest. That's what I think we're going to see next year, something like this. I don't mind that either. Look where we are, okay? Since then, that at this moment in time when markets were in the 470s and SPY, now we're in 690s, and I have 500 fucking tickers here under $1. Excuse my French, but it's important to understand this. Why? Fundamental. It's a fundamental thing. Our friends H.C. Wainwright and Co. and every other one of these companies has been so busy. All of these companies are under $1 because fundamentally, that's what's happening. We have a very fundamental thing going on. The cycle's strong, guys. This is why. Look at this. This is why small cap going to stay strong. As long as we have tickers trading under these prices, we have companies that need to stay alive. We have H.C. Wainwright dumping. Okay? We have huge money going through these things. Huge money going through these things. So, I'm not scared. We are in a lull in small cap. At some point, any one of these 450 tickers has to pump super hard. Let's go to $2. Look, here, let's just do a floor of 2 now on there. Let's see how many we've got. Probably double that, right? Almost 1,000 tickers that are $2 and under. Any one of these can set off a small cap run. Does that make sense? So, I'm not that concerned. Okay? I'm actually pretty excited. I'm just waiting for the next run for small cap now. It doesn't matter. Does that make sense? All of those tickers, by the way, because we're going to get back to the one thing I was asked really fast. All of those tickers, when they're under $1 for NASDAQ, like you just saw, are not compliant with fucking NASDAQ. They must do something. I love nothing more than when a company must do something because then I can put myself in their shoes. Okay? Do I know any traders who are successful day trading only mid or large cap stocks? I do. But it's a bigger money game, no doubt. It's a bigger money game. Yeah, please smash the like. Please smash the like so I can stay here with you guys for a little longer. Instead of... I'm just kidding. I love my in-laws. Anyways, when they're under $1, okay, they're non-compliant with NASDAQ, they can be delisted. They have to go to OTC land or delist, right? Then they can't take money from us anymore. It's usually a death kiss for these companies. Okay? So, but there are rules, right? It's not like, oh, they're under $1, you're fucking gone. That's why there are so many that get to stay under $1. Some of these stay under $1 for years because of the rules that they're able to navigate. Okay? They must maintain a dollar price. If not, they're not compliant. They can be delisted. Okay? Problem is, most of those tickers that you see that go under $1 go there because what? They're dumping shares. That does what? It makes their float bigger. It makes their share count bigger. Okay? And math and supply and demand dictate that when it's a bigger float, it takes more volume to move it in the first place. And then it's not going to move as much. Does everyone understand that concept? Less shares trading hands, it's going to move faster. Okay? When you're looking at time and sales and it's just flying with thin bid and ask, that's what you're watching. Even if there's a bigger float, you're watching something that's being thinly traded because there aren't a lot of shares trading hands. Okay? So, the reason that this split exists is because most of these tickers don't have the ability, once they've gotten a big fat float, to then move that float back over $1 or to $2 or to $3 and then continue to dump shares. So they came up with this idea that, okay, well, let's just do magic, right? You can consolidate the share amount and then we can increase the share price. Technically does nothing to the market cap. So they're technically not doing anything. Yeah? You have 10 $1 bills. I have one $10 bill. We switch them. We both have $10. Does that make sense? Same fucking thing. That's what happens. But I have one $10 bill. You have 10 $1 bills. Okay? That's what a split is. So now you've got a company that if they had 100 million shares in the float, okay, and they can't move anymore. Think about the float like your weight, like the weight on a runner. Think about a guy running, okay? Big float is a big fat dude. Really big float, really big fat guy. Gonna be slower. Just is what it is. Okay? As that weight comes off, yes, they're gonna be faster, generally speaking, from a physics standpoint. Same thing with floats. The bigger the float, the fatter and slower it's going to be. Okay? So, that's what they do. So, if I've got 100 million in my float and I'm trading at, 15 cents, I need to get my price over $1. So, I need to do a big split. So, say I do 100 for 1 on the split. Okay, 100 for 1 on the split. Now, my share count goes from 100 million to 1 million. You divide that share count, okay? So you've got 1 million in the share count and you've got a higher price stock. Then they have to hold $1 for 10 days. So say 100 million shares in the float, 10 cent stock. We'll keep it easy. Keep it like a whole number, right? They do a 10 for 1 split. Now they've got a 10 million share float and their stock's at $1. Hope that makes sense. Very simply put. So powerful though, because post split, when they do this, they got to hold $1 for 10 days. It's my favorite strategy ever developed because it was the first strategy I developed where it was like, okay, that's chess. That feels like edge to me. It was the first strategy where I was like, this feels like cheating. Right? Now it's been diminished, the edge from this strategy over time. But right now, next week, I will be looking and deploying it. Watch yesterday's webinar, please. It's up on my channel. Okay? It's not, there's nothing guaranteed. There's nothing guaranteed in this market. There's no setup that's guaranteed. Everything can lose, right? But again, let's go right back to the beginning of this webinar. Remember when I'm like, hey, it's more about when to deploy as opposed to just how. Okay? I have a fucking playbook that I've built over 10 years now. Okay? That's what my playbook is full of. Monday, I dust this fucking strategy off. Does that make sense? Yes or no? All I need to do is see it happen once. And then I want to be in the simp and the simp and the simp and the simp till it's gone. Does that make sense? Yes or no, chat? Sometimes the simp, there is no simp. That's what's been happening lately. There's not been a really, really good one that I can then lean. Yeah, my reverse split strategy got hella stolen. And then it, for example, here's SMX post split. I'm going to show you why it was so fucked up. Is I would load liquid plays. I wouldn't even have to load them, to be honest. That strategy, I could wait for post split and I would sit there. I'd put an alert out. When the PR came out, I would slap shares pre-market. I would slap the PR. No one would, you know, and then volume would almost always come in. And it would almost always then become the biggest runner of that week. In fact, every runner that I traded, if you go back to like 2017, 2018, every runner that I traded in those years had been a split somewhat recently before that. Almost every single one, like clockwork. So that's what I mean. The pump and dump, it's cyclical. You got to find when they're going to do it or if they're going to do it. If you don't think they're in the pump or they just pumped last week, you're the dumpy this week. Okay? And I'm on to something different. And I'm waiting for the one area where this might bounce, like 10 next week on SMX. I'd be waiting for maybe a bounce off the 10 area. If that makes sense. Makes sense to me. 10 would like to hold. Okay? For some sort of bounce next week. Best pattern for low capital. There's not one specific, but I love when bottom bouncers are working, some really cheap plays. I love bankruptcy bounces when we have bankruptcies are amazing. I'm going to teach you guys tomorrow. I've got a student, Sebastian, who changed his whole fucking trading life last year on the back of just BK bounces. And now he's taking that edge into other strategies. And I believe he's at 600 or 700K now in 1 year. Okay. So that we are going to wrap up for this morning. I just wanted to let you guys know, kind of paint a picture for you of what we're doing. There's way more timing involved in terms of so many things. Okay. When to deploy what strategy and stuff like that. But if you can put yourself in these guys' shoes, as a trader, okay, and be in harmony with the fact that, yes, there's pumping and dumping going on, and you want to be on the front side of these long and on the back side of them short. Holy shit. So much edge, so much inefficiency. You guys, for a stock to go from 2 to 35 is so inefficient. It's not even funny. And it doesn't happen on bigger cap stocks, unfortunately. That's the problem that I have with the bigger cap stuff, is it's just more efficient. And more expensive and less volatile. So it's, as a day trader, it is, you know, that's exactly what you want as an investor. It's exactly, or a swing trader, you know. Anyways, much love. Everyone have the most fucking amazing Thanksgiving. Everyone have the most amazing Thanksgiving. Tomorrow, I'll be back. We're going to live trade in the morning. Hopefully, we'll be able to hit a simp or two. Hit the sales. We got Black Friday going on for the next few days. It's the lowest our prices are ever going to be. It's the best community for fucking longing in the world. At least for small cap, what we do. It's a whole community that ignores chasing highs. It's a whole community that has been searching for every answer below that and how to sell to Billy for a long time now. So the ideas that are produced in our group have nothing to do with what you see in every other group. And I think that's what makes us special. So I love you guys. I'm also teaching one-on-one still. December 1st, which is just a few days away, we start our next class. We've got a few spots left. If you want to work with me one-on-one for 4 months straight, it's a special program. We're going to be sprinting for 4 months. All right. Love you guys. Everyone have the most amazing, amazing Thanksgiving. Hopefully I'll be able to finish painting this picture for you guys tomorrow so that 2026, your trading transforms forever. Okay. And you're able to take these principles and carve your way. Stop being Billy. I fucking love you guys. Love the trading community. Thanks for joining me this morning. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning, 30 minutes before market open. All right, guys. Make sure you follow me on socials. Make sure you smash the like. I'm going to be, throughout the 2026, trying to drop as much knowledge as I can for you guys. We'll start a movement of people who actually buy low, sell high, right? One of my favorite stories, and then we'll go. One of my favorite stories, and then we'll go. My son was 5 years old. Okay, so I was pretty new into trading, a few years in, a year and a half in. I show him a chart. He's like, Dad, what do you do for a living? I go, oh, I buy and sell stocks, and if I buy it and it goes up and I sell it, then I make money. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. I go, where would you buy this, son? Pointed out a chart just like this, not quite as extended as this. And he takes his little finger and puts it right here. And I go, yeah, son, and that would be a great idea in theory, but like this was more exciting to me back then, right? So this would have been the chart, And he's like, why not here? And I was like, because like you gotta this and you gotta get the breakout and then this, just straight Billy still. Now, maybe a couple years later, I was like, holy hell, he was absolutely right the entire time. I just needed to listen to my 5-year-old. You guys need to listen to your 5-year-old too. We buy low and sell high. This is high. This is low. Okay, look. This is high. This is low. Look. This is high. This is low. High, low. High, low. I don't know what fucks us adults up, and not just us, but millions of us, every single one of us that wants to trade for some reason, thinks that we buy up here. High. So crazy, right? You don't understand, son. Sell to Billy. I love you guys. Have an amazing, amazing Thanksgiving, and we will see you tomorrow morning.